Yo, what's going on, snipers, and welcome back to our Stanley Cup Finals rematch series. So, as I said in the last video, which was the Detroit and Washington final, we are doing a matchup between all 16 teams we created throughout NHL 18. So you have the North Stars and the Penguins, the Washington Capitals and the Detroit Red Wings from 98. You have the Flames and the Tampa Bay Lightning. You have the Sens and Ducks, the Panthers and Colorado. You got Buffalo and Dallas, and then you also got Edmonton and Carolina, and the 09 Penguins and the 09 Red Wings. So this should be a pretty interesting thing. Also, so you guys know how the playoff tree is set up, is basically all the 1990 Stanley Cup final rematches are on one side, and all the 2000 ones are on the other side. So if Pittsburgh advances on the 2000 side, they either face Ottawa or Anaheim. At least that's what it looks like. So it should be a pretty even way to get to the Cup Finals for whoever gets there. Other than that, I also wanted to bring up in NHL 19, we are only going to be doing 4 Stanley Cup Finals rematches. The first episode is going to be the 1994 Cup Finals rematch. And then it's going to go on to the 1984 finals between the Islanders and the Edmonton Oilers. And then also after that, it's going to go to the 03 finals between the Ducks and the Devils. And then we're going to have the 1997 finals between Detroit and the Philadelphia Flyers. So there's only 4 more that will be in NHL 19. And the reason being there's going to only be 4 is because I'm also creating this idea called gold medal rematches. So we're going to have the gold medal finals from the Olympic Games in 1998, 2002, 2006, and 2010. And we're going to do rematches on those for the extra 4 ones that we won't be doing as like cup final rematches. So anyways, let's get into the simulation. I'm interested to see how other teams play against each other from different like years and whatnot. When I did a test sim of this, it turns out that the Pittsburgh Penguins faced the Pittsburgh Penguins in the finals. So it was the 1991 team versus the 09 team. So it was kind of an interesting finals, and then I think the 09 team ended up winning. Just Marc-Andre Fleury stood on his head. So after one game, Pittsburgh 91 has the lead, Detroit 98 has the lead, Tampa Bay has the lead, Ottawa has the lead, Colorado has the lead, Buffalo has the lead surprisingly, Carolina has the lead, and Detroit has the lead. So we're just going to go through this kind of quickly until there's a chance for teams to eliminate each other. Once we get to the finals is when we will actually slow simulate games, because this way it's quicker. Because if we slow simulated every single game of this playoff matchup, it would take forever. So pretty much all series are 2-0 except for the Sens and the Ducks are tied, and the Avs and the Panthers are tied. Also, when I was doing this practice simulation, it was kind of funny because the Buffalo Sabres somehow made it to like the conference finals. I don't know if it was because of Dominic Hasek or whatnot, but they got there. So, and Buffalo has actually a 3-0 lead on Dallas again, so they might get on to the next round. So this is our first chance at elimination game. Will the 1991 Penguins move on? Yes, they will, as they sweep the North Stars in 4 games. So that's not really a surprise. Now Detroit has a chance to sweep the Washington Capitals like they did actually in 1998. Let's see what could happen there. And Washington has survived. Tampa Bay could sweep Calgary, will they? Yes, they will. So Tampa Bay moves on. So we have 2 actual Cup champions that have moved on so far. It would be kind of cool if all the Cup finalists are like teams that won Cups moved on. Then we could kind of have a different, like an actual all-time Cup winner, instead of one of these teams who haven't won a Cup yet. So Buffalo has swept the Dallas Stars. So unfortunately, Buffalo actually moves on, which is kind of a weird shock. But at least maybe we'll have somebody that hasn't won a cup before win one. And then will the Detroit move on that one? No, they won't. How about now? No, wow, Washington's won 2 in a row now, so Detroit's kind of got their back against the wall. Let's see who takes the lead in this series, and it's the Ducks. Not a surprise, really. Colorado has taken a lead. Carolina has lost the lead to Edmonton. That's also a surprise. And Detroit in 2009 is moving on. So the 09 Penguins actually getting ousted in the first round this time. So this should be interesting. Will the 1998 Detroit Red Wings move on? Yes, they will as well. So maybe we'll have a Detroit and Detroit finals. That'd be kind of cool because most of the guys are actually the same on both teams. So, and the Ducks are going to move on, taking out the Sens in 6 games. Will Colorado out the Florida Panthers? Yes, they will. And will Edmonton bring this first round to a close? Yes, they will. So Carolina is gone, but now we have some interesting matchups here. So we got the 1991 Penguins up against the 1996 Colorado Avalanche. So both really talented teams because the Penguins have like Yager and Lemieux. If you guys didn't catch those episodes, the playlist will actually be up in the corner right now. So you guys could go check those out if you haven't checked out those videos. And yeah, the Colorado Avalanche, very talented as well. Forsberg, Sakic, Adam Foote, etc. So yeah, that should be an interesting matchup. And then I think that's the 98 Detroit Red Wings, I think that's the 98 Detroit Red Wings. They're up against the 99 Buffalo Sabres, so that could have honestly been a Stanley Cup Finals matchup one day. And then you got the Edmonton Oilers from 06 up against Tampa Bay from 04. And you got Detroit from 09 up against the Ducks from 07. So let's see who advances to the conference finals out of these final 8 teams. So we got most of the right, like, actual simulations. Only a couple teams didn't make it onto the next round like they should have. But it should be interesting to see who is the best out of all these teams. Obviously, this isn't going to be the most accurate thing, but it could be. Okay, so Colorado looking to go up 3-1, and they don't. And Detroit has a chance to eliminate the Buffalo Sabres and advance to the conference finals, and they'll do just that. So the 1998 Red Wings off to the conference finals. Will Tampa Bay take a lead? No, they will not. It's a tie series at 2. Will the Ducks take a 3-1 lead? No, they will not. So we have all the rest of the series knotted at 2. Let's see if the Pens or the Avs take the lead, and it's the Avs. Okay. So now Tampa Bay and Edmonton takes the lead. Wow, so the team that hasn't even won a cup in like the 2000s has a chance to actually go to the conference finals. And now Anaheim and Detroit. It is the lead for the 09 Red Wings. So the 09 Red Wings might advance to the conference finals. Let's see if Colorado could eliminate the Penguins, and they will not, and they'll go to a Game 7. How about Tampa? Can they tie this series up? No, they will not, and Edmonton from 2006 is off to the conference finals as well, so kind of a shocker. Now let's see, will Detroit from 09 move on to the conference finals? And they will not. There's another Game 7, so we got 2 big matchups here, 2 Game 7s. Let's see if Yager and Lemieux move on, or is it Forsberg and Sakic? And it's going to be Yager and Lemieux. So the Pens from 91 knock off the Avs, who had a 3-2 series lead at one point. But the Pens will move on. And now it is the 09 Red Wings up against the 07 Ducks. Who moves on out of these two? It is going to be the 07 Ducks. So one of the Detroit teams gets knocked out. But now we have 2 really good matchups from the 90s. And, well, the 2000s matchup is a bit of a mismatch, I think, in my opinion. But I don't know how these teams are actually going to simulate. But yeah, the 90s one is a really good matchup because both these 2 teams were dynasties, kind of, because the Pens won back-to-back. Detroit won back-to-back as well, and then they also won one in 2002 and whatnot. So this is kind of interesting. And then you got Anaheim and Edmonton. Edmonton, like I said, never won the cup in the 2000s. But Anaheim, they have a really tight defensive core, and then both teams actually have Chris Pronger, which is kind of cool. So we'll see who moves on to the finals out of these 4 teams. Pittsburgh 91 takes the lead, and the Ducks 07 take the lead, tied at 1. I feel like both these series could go 7 games, honestly, but who knows. Pittsburgh 91 has a 2-1 lead, and the Ducks looking to go up 3-0. No, they will not. Edmonton takes a game. And wow, the 91 Penguins have the Red Wings by the neck pretty much. And they're one game away from the finals. Will Anaheim take a 3-1 lead? Yes, they will. So both teams have a chance to eliminate their opponents here. Will the 91 Penguins move on? No, they will not. Detroit steals a game and they're within one now. And will Anaheim end the Edmonton Oilers, who should be ended? Yes, they will. So Anaheim is off to the finals, which is well deserved because they got a really strong defensive core, a couple good forwards. So this should be an interesting finals with them at least. But I'm hoping Detroit somehow pulls this off because I'm more of a Detroit fan than a Penguins fan, just because the Penguins have eliminated my Senators and the Blue Jackets in the past. But let's see, will Detroit tie the series and force a Game 7? And yes, they will. So we have Game 7 in the conference finals. I'll slow simulate this game just because it's a pretty big game. So the 98 Red Wings and the 91 Penguins, who is going to win this game? And Doug Brown opens the scoring, beating Tom Barrasso early, and Detroit has the lead. 5-on-3 power play for the Penguins, but they cannot convert. Shots are even like I was expecting. This is pretty tight series. Last 5 minutes of this first period, Detroit still has that 1-goal lead, and they are going to take it into the second. They're out shooting Pittsburgh 15-10. Let's see what happens here in the second. Almost getting closer to the halfway point, and power play again for the Penguins, and Joe Mullen is going to tie it at 1, and then Mark Recchi gives the Pens the lead. Sorry if you just heard my stomach growl. I don't even know why that just happened. And Steve Yzerman, the captain, ties the game back at 2. This game could potentially go to overtime. I could see it. Shots are 23-21 in favor of the Red Wings, but both offenses and goaltenders have been kind of the same. Let's see who moves on to the finals against the 07 Ducks. Almost halfway through this third period, and Yuri Herdina, I don't remember which one it is, makes it a 3-2 lead for the Penguins. Last 10 minutes of this third period, Detroit still has the shot advantage. Will they tie it up, or will the Pens move on? Last little bit, and the Pens are moving on to the finals. So unfortunately, the 98 Detroit Red Wings are eliminated. So our finals has been set. It is now the 91 Penguins up against the 07 Ducks. Okay, so there's a look at the player stats. So it looked like Steve Yzerman was actually doing a lot of work for Detroit. Unfortunately, they don't get to the finals. 3 stars in that game, Barrasso making 34 saves, Mullen the second star, and Yuri Herdina with the game-winning goal. So now we have our finals. Who will win? The 91 Pens, who are 12-6, or the 12-6 Anaheim Ducks from 07? This should be a pretty interesting one. Let's take a look at both their player stats, both their team stats, who's leading each of them in points, just so we can kind of get a comparison for the actual finals. So who is leading for the Anaheim Ducks in this finals? It is currently Ryan Getzlaf with 18 points in 18 games. And no, I did not make him a low elite. I think I made him a medium elite, but I don't know why it's saying low elite. Solani, 13 points. So it seems like Getzlaf's the only one really contributing, point per game wise. I'm going to guess that Jaguar's been really good. Yes, he has. Wow. 12-5-1 with 7 shutouts and 957 save percentage and a 1.3 goals against average. So yeah, he's the main reason they're on this finals, or onto this finals. And then as for the 1991 Penguins, we'll actually check all the player stats at the end of this simulation as well. It looks like it's been Barrasso mostly as well, because yeah, Ron Francis has the most points with 14 points, 1 goal, 13 assists. Pure playmaker, it looks like, even though in real life he wasn't, he was a bit of both. So yeah, pretty good depth point wise, but I feel like it's probably Barrasso. And yes, once again, it is the goaltender. 12-4-2 with 3 shutouts, a 944 save percentage, and a 1.55 goals against average. So now that you guys have seen how each team got to the Cup Finals, let's get into this Cup Finals and see who is the champion. Like I said, at the end of this, we'll take a look at the player stats from each team just to kind of give a little wrap up. And then that will be it for this episode. So here we go. Game 1 is underway. No team has scored yet. We're at the Civic Arena in Pittsburgh, which I think became the Mellon Arena, which I don't think exists anymore, but might. 100% sure with that. And while the Ducks are running away in shots, but Gordy Roberts, wow, a guy that isn't really even that good, comes through and the Pens have the lead. Shots are 17-14 in favor of Anaheim. Let's see what happens here in the second period of game number 1. And Jaromir Jagr makes it 2-0. This might be a mismatch though, yeah, in a way, because like the 91 Penguins have a lot better offense, I think, than the 07 Ducks did. Lemieux makes it 3-0. Shots are still pretty even, but it just seems like Barrasso's playing great and the offense is clicking for the Pens, using that home ice advantage. And Ron Francis makes it 4-0. So it looks like it's going to be a game 1 rout in Pittsburgh, unless the Ducks can get some goals here late. Power play, and they don't score on it. They're running away in shots, but Joe Mullen's going to score and make it 5-0. This is definitely going to hurt J.S. Shagir's like goals against average and whatnot. And the Pittsburgh Penguins are going to take a 1-0 series lead. 3 stars in that game: Barrasso, Lemieux, and Mark Recchi with 3 assists. Let's actually take a look at the player stats. So there is that. If you guys wanted to pause it and look at that, I won't read it all off because my voice is kind of getting a bit sore. Okay. So the 91 Pens have the series lead. Let's see if they could do it in game number 2 as well. Going back to the Honda Center after this game. So we'll go 8-time simulation, and wow, okay, the Ducks start off way better than last game as Andy McDonald, who had actually a really good playoffs in 07, makes it 1-0 for the Ducks, but Mark Recchi, who had 3 assists in the first game, ties it at 1. Once again, the Ducks have the shot advantage. Might be because of their defensive core, because Niedermeyer and Pronger are really good. And Travis Moen, who also had a really good playoffs in 07, has given the Ducks a 2-1 lead after the first period. So not a very good start for Barrasso, but he had a really good game in game 1. Let's see what happens here in the second. And Dustin Penner makes it 3-1. The Pens could still rally from this, I feel like, because they got a good offensive core, and Sammy Paulson, the guy that came through in the actual 07 finals, like in game 2, makes it a 4-1 game. I'm surprised both teams are actually able to score this much goals on each other. Like game 1, I wasn't expecting Pittsburgh to score 5 goals on Jaguar after seeing his statistics, and now for some reason the Ducks have been able to score 4 goals on Barrasso. Mullen gets an early goal in the third period, but will they be able to get 2 more? Power play, and they don't score on it. Last 10 minutes of the third period here in game number 2, and Andy McDonald with his second of the night, and it looks like the Ducks are going to run away with this one, just like the Penguins did in game 1, and we have a tie series headed back to Anaheim. Okay, so let's take a look at the 3 stars in this game. So Andy McDonald, first star, 2 goals. Kevin Stevens, the second star, and Dustin Penner, the third. Let's take a look at the all events again. So yeah, it looks like Getzlav's helping out again, and yeah, the defense definitely helped out in for the Ducks this time. Like Niedermeyer and Pronger had assists. So that is game number 2. So now we are at the Honda Center in Anaheim. Hopefully, well, if you're a Ducks fan, I guess, hopefully they use this home ice to their advantage like they did in 07 and see if they could take a 2-1 series lead here. 8-time simulation. The Penguins are starting to get shots, and they have an early power play chance, but they cannot convert on it. They have another power play opportunity and still cannot convert. So they're getting some early chances, which is not what the Ducks wanted to do. Not the way they wanted to draw up that first period, and they are scoreless after 1, but the shots are heavily in Pittsburgh's favor because of a couple power plays. Shots are 15-8. Let's see what happens here in the second period. 5-on-3 power play for the Ducks to start the period, but they cannot convert on it. And there's a goal from Mario Lemieux, and it is 1-0 Penguins. Super Mario getting it done. Power play again for the Penguins, but they cannot convert. And there's Jaromir Jagr. Reminds me of that picture of them standing back-to-back with the Stanley Cup. Okay, so the Pittsburgh Penguins have a 2-0 lead going into this third, as well as the shot advantage 27-19. Let's see what happens here in this third period. Can the Ducks rally from back back from 0-2, or 2-0, I should say, or something like that. And Peter Taglianetti makes it 3-0 for the Pittsburgh Penguins. Looks like all she wrote here in game number 3. So yeah, this is a really back and forth series. Like, both teams are scoring a lot of goals, but in opposite games. And the Pittsburgh Penguins have taken a 2-1 series lead with a game win in Anaheim. So let's take a look at the stats. So yeah, Paul Coffey picks up 2 assists, and Lemieux and Yager getting it done. So it might have been the power play that helped out. I don't know. Brasso makes 28 saves for first star. Lemieux gets second star, and Coffey the third. Okay, so let's get into game number 4. We're still in Anaheim. Anaheim still has a chance to use this home ice. If they get a win here at least, then they have a chance to win the series. But if they lose right now, that's not a good time to do it, because Pittsburgh could take the series on home ice. So let's see, will Pittsburgh take a 3-1 series lead here with a win in Anaheim, or will the Ducks prevail? Timo Solani makes it 1-0 on the first shot of the game for the Ducks. Power play for the Pens, but they don't convert on it. A power play for Anaheim, and they don't score either. Shots are still in the Penguins' favor, but they are down by a goal. Is this another game that J.S. Giguère steals? And it is 1-0 after 1. Shots are pretty even, 10-9, in favor of the Pens. Second period underway. And wow, okay, Brad May, so Mayday, you know, from like whatever that year was, makes it 2-0 for Anaheim. Last 10 minutes here of this second period, Ducks have the 2-0 lead, but Joe Mullen makes it 2-1, so Pittsburgh still has a chance here. And it's going to be 2-1 for the Ducks going into the third. Shots are 25-19 in favor of the Penguins. Let's see what happens here in this third period. Can the Ducks hold on to this lead here, or will they give it up? Shots are still heavily in the Penguins' favor by like 10 shots pretty much. Last 10 minutes here of this third period, Anaheim's getting some chances. Last 5 minutes of the third period, power play for the Ducks, and they won't score late. And it is 2-1 final for the Ducks, and we are going to go to at least a game 6. So a tie series headed back to Pittsburgh. So there's the players' stats for this game. So Getzlav with another point. Seems like he's picking up a lot of those. 3 stars, J.S. Giguère making 33 saves. Mayday getting second star, and Tom Barrasso getting the third star. Okay, so pretty even series so far. I think it's just because the defensive core of the Ducks and the offensive core of the Penguins kind of balance out. And then the defensive core for the Penguins isn't necessarily the greatest. Like, they have Larry Murphy and Coffey, but other than that, they don't really have anything else. And then the offensive core for the Ducks isn't necessarily the strongest either. So let's see what happens here back in Pittsburgh for game number 5. Okay, here we go. Game 5. We're gonna go into like when a team has a chance to win the cup, like in next game or the game afterwards. If a team has a chance to win the cup, we'll watch it again, just like we normally do. Yeah, this video might be a bit long, so you guys know. But Joe Mullen, anyways, makes it 1-0 for the Penguins. Shots are pretty even here, going towards the end of the first period, and yes, it is 1-0 Pens after 1. Shots are 10-9 in favor of them as well. Let's see what happens here in the second period. And the Ducks are going to tie it up as it's Dustin Penner. So maybe this is a game where both teams' offenses click. Jaromir Jagr makes it 2-1 for the Penguins. Power play also for the Penguins, but they don't score on it. Power play for the Ducks, and it's Dustin Penner again. So Penner picking up his second of the night. Second of the period as well. Power play again for Anaheim, but they can't convert. Power play for the Penguins, they don't convert. And we have a 2-2 game going into the third. Shots are 28-16 in favor of Penguins. Third period. Let's see what happens here. Penguins getting the power play chance, but they can't convert again, which is really surprising considering how offensively minded their power play would be. Last 5 minutes of this third period. Are we going to an overtime here in game number 5? Yes, we are. So this is a pretty tight series. Shots are 38-24 in favor of Pittsburgh, but I guess J.S. Jaguar is just having a really good game. Can he steal it for them here in overtime? Who will get the game-winning goal? Will it be Yager? Will it be Penner? Will it be Getzlav? Will it be, who else? Corey Perry, Mary Lemieux? Or will it be somebody random like Peter Tangley and Eddie, or I don't even know who else? And we might be going to a double overtime. Yes, we are. Shots are 53-32 in favor of the Penguins. They're throwing everything they can at Jaguar, but Jaguar is just stoning cold everything. He's made 51 saves. Will he get his team a victory? 5-on-4 power play, and the Ducks score, and yes, he does. J.S. Jaguar stealing the game, and it's a nobody in Kent Huskins who gets the winner. Final shots were 53-34, but the Penguins cannot prevail, and the Ducks are one win away from the Stanley Cup. Also, they might win it on home ice nonetheless. Okay, so let's take a look at the player stats for that game. So Joe Mullen getting a goal, Penner getting a goal. Looks like Perry had a couple of assists, and I don't think anybody else had multiple points. But so yeah, the Ducks kind of rallied multiple times because they were down 1-0, they tied it up. They were down 2-1, they tied it up, and then they took the lead in overtime. 3 stars of that game, obviously Jaguar getting first star, Penner getting the second star, and Huskins the third. So the Ducks have a chance to win the cup on home ice just like they did in 2007. Will they close out the 91 Penguins, which I find is kind of surprising, or will the Penguins force a Game 7 back on home ice? So like I said, we're just going to jump into the game if there's a chance for the Ducks to win the cup with like 5 minutes or less left. So it's going to be weird watching this gameplay because I've been playing the NHL 19 beta a lot recently. So, and we're last 5 minutes here of this first period. Shots are in the Ducks' favor as the Ducks definitely want this cup, it seems like. And it's scoreless after 1. Shots are 15-6 in favor of Anaheim. Let's see what happens here in the second period. Power play for the Penguins, and they're going to score, and it's Mark Recchi beating Jaguar. Is this Barasso's time to steal a game for his team? Power play for Anaheim, and they don't score on it. It seems like it's a pretty even goaltending matchup, even though Barasso's like an 85 and Jaguar's like an 89. And Penner again, holy crap. But Bork answers back. Phil Bork. I think that's like his first goal of the series. Shots are 29-17 in favor of Anaheim, but they are losing badly. Well, not badly, by 1 goal. I don't know why I said badly. They're getting badly outshot. But they're out shooting badly. And Scott Niedermayer ties his game at 2. We're going to go down to 4-time simulation just in case the Ducks take the lead. Last 10 minutes here of the third period. Will we get a game winner in this last 10 minutes? Will the Penguins force a Game 7 or will the Ducks win the cup? We might still intervene even if it goes to overtime, even though it might be a mistake to do that. Oh, the Ducks have scored with 2:23 left, and guess who it was? Brad May. Oh, damn, I feel like playing that Mayday clip right now. Okay, so let's get into game number 6, into the last bit of the third period. We're going to make the Ducks wear, their home jersey, but since like it's weird from back in those days, we're going to make the home jersey for the Penguins. We're going to... What the heck is it doing? Oh, there you go. Okay. Just because that way we don't get any color confusion with the 2 blacks. And yeah, I think that's good. So yeah, I'll let you guys watch, and I'll see you guys back up here at the end of it.
More to come. And they've taken that face-off between the blue lines and won it. Back on his stick. Flips a wrister. Pittsburgh's got it back in their own zone. Gathered up by Samuelson. Gains the zone. Points it. Good use of the stick. Broke that pass out. Ahead on that left wing to Longy. Good shooting place. Passing one off now to Pronger. Wonderful block. Puck is thrown to Oda. Directing that one to Thornton. Looking to Marchand. And now it's directed to Thornton. A shot. Terrific shot, but a great... And another save. Mark him down for one more. Shoots. Wonderful save. What a skill level there. And he gets it back. Waits with it. And he missed it.
Oh, that was a chance that would have sealed the deal. Up by one.
Gains the zone and looks over his options. To the point it comes. Oh, deflected away. Last minute of play in a wonderful game. Lets it go. That shot glanced off the post. And he is reefed.
Oh, that's a big hit. He's trying to spark his club here as they need to fight their way back into this game.
Oh, he scores! What an important goal in the game. They've got a 2-goal lead.
He's got a nose for the net, and especially scoring goals off the rebound.
Barberis just can't move quickly enough. After he makes that first stop, he's not able to square up and stop the rebound.
Anaheim's got possession from the faceoff. Oh, and he's hammered.
Oh, that is a bone crusher, Doc. He went right over top of him. That hit was delivered with intent.
Trying to go to Beauchemin. Terrific determination by Solani. A shot. Outstanding save. What magic even to get there and get the shot off.
Seems like he was in too tight on the goaltender.
Snaps it on goal. Wow, what a glove save.
Oh, he thought he had him on the glove side.
Got possession. Nabbed by Moen. Anaheim's up the wing, controlling play. Net empty! From childhood, the daydream of getting to hold 35 pounds of history, and it's about to come true. They will win the biggest prize.
You go through the handshake lineup and there is sportsmanship to be shown, but it's hard to let go of the intensity of a long and bitter series.
The playoff MVP gets the Conn Smythe Trophy, and here is the winner.
This is a tremendous award that probably means more in the coming days than it does now. You don't dream of winning the Conn Smythe. You dream of the Stanley Cup.
It's often said it's the hardest prize to win because it takes 8 weeks. And by tradition, the captain is the first to hold it high.
I remember as a kid watching Johnny Busick, the captain of the Boston Bruins, hold the Stanley Cup above his head. I thought it would be the coolest thing to do. Look how proud and happy the captain is here tonight. There's always interest in how the Stanley Cup has passed player to player, and they take their victory lap with it. Players are injured and banged up, yet it doesn't seem to matter how much that 30-pound trophy really weighs. Doug Weight actually got it over his head once with a dislocated shoulder.
You play that hard and that long. You get your names on a trophy, rings on your fingers, and one last photograph. Evidence of it all.
So there you guys have it. The '07 Ducks have been crowned the champion of champions, I guess you could say. So 3 stars in that game. As you can see, Brad May had 2 goals because he scored 1 super late again. So Mayday all the way. And J.S. Gary gets 2nd star because he was pretty much the main reason they won this cup. Because they were down 1-0 in the series at one point, but he rallied back with 2 unanswered wins the last game and in this game to win them the series in 6 games. And then the captain Scott Niedermayer gets 3rd star with 2 points. Let's actually quickly take a look at the box score as well, because we can't see it from anywhere else. So yeah, it looks like it was mainly the top players on each team getting points in this game. Brad May with 2 goals late in the 3rd period. Okay, so now that we have finished that simulation, let's do a little wrap up into all the player stats from each team and see who did what for what team, if they were kind of accurate, that type of thing. And then that'll be it for this video. Okay, so I guess we'll start off with the Ducks, and then we'll make our way all the way to the end, which would be the Washington Capitals, I think. Yeah, the Washington Capitals. So starting off with the '07 Ducks. So yeah, Getzlav, McDonald, and Perry played really good. Same with Penner, actually. You know, they had some really good depth point-wise. All the way from Moen upwards was over 10 points. Or over 11 points. And then they had some good players down below that as well. And wow, okay, Sean O'Donnell was a plus 17. So that's reminiscence of his really good defensive stats. In terms of goaltending, look at the J.S. Shigeru, those 7 shutouts in the playoffs. It's pretty insane, especially in 24 games only. So that's Anaheim's stats. Let's move on to Buffalo, who only played 8 games. Juneau and Brown were really good. The rest of the players, not the greatest. Looks like they might have had trouble scoring goals for the most part, because only a few players have goals. And Dominic Hasek was actually really good still, though, a 1.88 and a 939, 4-4. So yeah, it was mainly his team that let him down, not him, because obviously he's a really good goaltender. In terms of the '04 Calgary Flames, Chris Simon led the way. So yeah, the '04 Flames struggled for some reason. They got swept. Simon had 4 points, Yell and Saprigin 3 points. Only 1 goal from Jerome McGinley. You think he would do better after he just retired. In the actual '04 finals, he was really good. So that's a bit of a shocker. Goaltending wise, yeah, Kiprasov wasn't the greatest. Yeah, he was 0-3-1 with an .892 save percentage and a 3.48 goals against average. So definitely should have played better than he did. But it could have been the defensive core of the Flames that let them down. Yeah, it definitely was. Regier and Leopold, their best defensemen, were both a -5. In terms of the Carolina Hurricanes from 2006, Eric Stahl led the way. The other Mark Recchi had 5 points. Stillman and Cullen 4 points. Yeah, doesn't seem like it was the greatest simulation for them either. Yeah, and Cam Ward did not play the greatest either. In terms of the Colorado Avalanche from 96, they were led by Forsberg, Kamensky, and Ricci. For some reason, where the hell's Sakic? Wow, Joe Sakic had no points in 13 games. I don't even know how that's possible, but okay, Joe Sakic, their first line center, I think. Because I think Forsberg, maybe Forsberg is, but still, Sakic 13 points, or no points in 13 games. Like, even Warren Reichel put up more points than he did. Huh, that is really weird. How about Patrick Waugh? How did he play? He was actually pretty good. Not a good win-loss ratio, but a good save percentage and good goals against average. So that's pretty realistic. Dallas-wise, Brett Hull, the guy from 1999 who scored in the crease, technically, if you're a Buffalo Sabres fan. If you're not, then he wasn't. Zubov, 2 points. Dave Reed. They got some offense, but they still got swept, it looks like. Ed Belfour was... he wasn't the greatest in goals against average, actually, but he was good in save percentage. In terms of the Detroit Red Wings from 98, Yzerman, Fedorov, Lidstrom, Shanahan, and Kozlov are all pretty good, but everybody else was 8 and below in points. In terms of goaltending, how did Osgood play? Osgood played really good, actually. Like, he could have probably went on to win like a Conn Smythe if he went to the finals. And Detroit from 09, Zetterberg, and Datsuk. I'm not going to go through everybody's points, really. Osgood from 09 had also a pretty good record. And then I guess Ty Conklin played 2 games, which is kind of weird. Okay. Edmonton from 06, Hemsky and Horkov led the way with 14 points each. Goaltending-wise was Markkanen was... he was good. Yeah, he was actually pretty solid for an 84. This might be a really long video, and I apologize if it is. Rob Niedermeyer from 96, 5 points in 6 games. Same with Barnes and Mellenby. In terms of goaltending, John Van Beesbrook played pretty solid as well, but he just couldn't get the wins. So must have been, again, the defensive core. The Minnesota North Stars, Brian Glenn, Bobby Smith, and Ulf Dalen led the way with 2 points in 4 games. They did not get a lot of offense at all. And John Casey was not the greatest either, so that is why the North Stars were out so early. Then the Ottawa Senators from 07, Heatley, Spezza, and Comrie. Alfredson was a bit less than that, but still that top line was doing some good offense, which is not a surprise. And then in terms of goaltending, Ray Emery, rest in peace. He died since my 07 video, which is pretty tragic. Yeah, he was probably he was definitely one of my favorite Senators goalies when I grew up watching, so it's pretty sad to see him go. In terms of the Pittsburgh Penguins from 91, like we were just looking at, Mullen, Lemieux, Coffey, and Francis, all 17 points. And then Recchi, 16 points, so yeah, it was definitely their top guns firing, it seems like. And then Barrasso was pretty good as well, so honestly, the Penguins could have won that cup as well. And then the Penguins from 09, Fedotenko, Kunitz, and Crosby, all 4, but everybody else are below that. Looks like their offense wasn't that good. And Marc-Andre Fleury was not the greatest at all. 875 and a 405, so I guess Detroit scored a lot of goals. And Guerin played only a couple minutes, it looks like. So that is the... And I think that's almost it. Yeah, we got 2 more teams left. The 04 Tampa Bay Lightning, led by Brad Richards, which is realistic. Dave Anderchuk and Vincent LeCavalier. St. Louis right there as well. Fedotenko up there with no goals but 5 assists. Goaltending-wise, Happy Bullen was also really good, which is what I wanted to see. And then the final team, which is the Washington Capitals from 98, were not good at all. Todd Krieger and then Andre Nikolitin and Esa Tikkanen were the best in terms of point production. And Bondra only had 1 goal in those 6 games. In terms of goalies, Olaf Kolzig was just not good at all. Like, he had 1 shutout, but he just did not play that good. And Billy Ranford, I guess, played... Wow, he almost played a full game, actually. Interesting. So, yeah, that is why I guess they did not win it. So, Anyway, guys, that is going to do it for this kind of like, I guess you could say like champion of champion Stanley Cup Finals matchup, or like playoff series. It was a pretty successful like custom roster build. I really like this idea, and like I said, this idea is definitely continuing into NHL 19, 4 other Stanley Cup Finals rematches, and then there's going to be 4 gold medal rematches, and those are going to alternate like weeks or months, maybe, like, yeah, probably months, because I'm going to be in school, so it's going to be like a Stanley Cup Finals rematch 1 month, and then next month is going to be a gold medal finals rematch, and yeah, certain like stuff like that. So anyways, I hope you guys like this idea, and I look forward to doing some more in NHL 19 with this idea. So thank you guys so much for watching. See you guys next time.
Wow.